So on the first morning we went for a stroll to get our bearings, and we just couldn't understand how tranquil it was. By the time we'd finished our relaxing lunch, Michelle had decided she was bored and we needed to do a 5-mile hike to a monastery up the mountain. I'd already spotted on my digital maps that the mountains were quite steep, but Michelle wasn't deterred by any such nonsense. Well, the walk got steeper and hotter and we were soon climbing quite hard.
This is probably the best day to do it this month because it's not as hot.
Yeah. Oh yes, you can tell by Michelle's face that it wasn't very hot at all. About halfway up we came to a section of near vertical scree and decided to give it a miss, as quite frankly it looked dangerous and I didn't fancy a hospital visit on a first day. We weren't prepared for how stunningly beautiful Korcula was. Our quick lunch lasted for over an hour as we took in the view all around and ate our delicious pizzas. Now Korcula is the island we'd been looking at across the water from Orebic. It's also referred to as Mini Dubrovnik, just as beautiful, smaller but without the crowds. The old town was originally developed between the 13th and 15th century when it was under the influence of the Venetian Republic. after a lovely afternoon, we headed back to Orebic on the passenger ferry. From the ferry, we could see the monastery where we stopped to take pictures on the way back from our doomed walk. Yes, and that's our hotel right there. We couldn't resist going back to Korcula again, this time to have lunch with our new friends and then to put my plan into action and rent cycles. My constant suggestions had worked at last, and Michelle had finally given in. We picked up our e-bikes and rode 10 miles up the deserted coast road where we came to a secluded cove. It was too good to be true, so we went for a dip in the sea. After our swim, we rode back to Korcula, stopping on the way for coffee, of course. Well, there's always time for coffee time. We were soon back in beautiful Korcula, where we met up with our friends again. After heading back to the marina, we called our friend with the taxi boat to pick us up and take us back. We were off back to Korcula to do some more cycling. This time we were passengers on the car ferry and would be arriving at a different port a couple of miles down from the old town. You can't go wrong with the transport to Korcula. There's a passenger ferry, a car ferry, and if all else fails you can hail a taxi boat. The ferries are back and forth non-stop all day long. We hadn't used this ferry before as you need your own transport to get to the old town, which is a couple of miles away. Today we had rented e-bikes in Orebic so we could do more exploring. We cycled along the coast, but this time in the other direction. We wanted to get to a beach I'd seen on the map. After a nice lunch, we decided to cycle on. The beach was a bit busy for us, and I wanted to get to the end of the island as it looked really interesting on the map. The word interesting doesn't even come close. It was absolutely spectacular. We eventually made our way back, stopping at little villages along the way.
You know what's round there?
No. By now, my brainwashing had worked a treat and Michelle was loving the cycling. Once she'd experienced what fun could be had by exploring this area by e-bike, she was well and truly hooked. Back at the port, we waited for the ferry to arrive. We'd had a lovely day on Korcula and were ready to get back to the hotel for showers and food. We decided to try and cycle to Levist at the end of the peninsula. As usual, I'd found it on my maps and was intrigued to see it. About halfway there, we cycled up a pretty long and steep climb. The view from the top was breathtaking. A few miles further on, I started to have a battery anxiety, and checking my map, I could see that there was a very long drop of about 4 miles into Levist. My worry was that climbing back out from there would have us running out of charge. So instead we turned back and headed for a pizza restaurant I'd spotted earlier on. The pizza, the view and the young guy that served us were amazing, and we sat there for quite a long time. Oh yeah, and there was time for coffee too. The wind that blows every day between our peninsula and Korcula makes the water in between a haven for all sorts of water sports. After lunch, we headed back to Orebic to return the rental bikes and walk back to the hotel. When we saw how much charge was left in the batteries, we realised we'd made a big mistake turning back on our ride. It had been a mega day out on the e-bikes and we were happy and content. So for today, Michelle wasn't happy with the bikes that we had for the previous 2 days. She's gone out and shopped us some real humdingers. These are proper specials. Look at the here. A Dutch shopping bike for me, complete with horny horn and some DIY contraption modified mountain bike. Big of a bloody battery hanging on it.
It's awful.
5-star Shelley has excelled once again.
Why don't you get lost? This is your fault, not mine.
Never happy. We couldn't stop thinking about finishing that ride to Levist, so we decided to rent e-bikes again. Except this time, 5-star Shelley was in charge, as she thought I'd done a pretty poor job finding the previous e-bikes. I told her they were the best in Orebic, but she was adamant she could do better. We got up the first climb and then cycled on past where we'd stopped the previous day. As you can see, I wasn't wrong about the long drop into Levist. When we arrived at Levist, we were amazed to find it virtually empty. We seemed to be the only tourists there. Come back here. Too right we'd be coming back. There's always time for coffee time, or in this heat, coffee and a Diet Coke. On the way back, we went up the other side of the little bay and found even more stunning views to ogle at. Nice bike. We then made our climb out of Lovist and cycled back to Orebic. She bloody loves these climbs. She absolutely loves them. Look at her, she's speeding along. Here she comes. Here's a power midget. Those bloody comedy bikes, 5-star Shelley indeed. That evening we went back to Korcula for one last time. I noticed people around the marina chilling out as if they were waiting for something to happen. And then it started, a sunset that went on and on and on. Our transfer pickup wasn't until around 3 p.m, so we had time for a final chill and lunch before setting off back home. We knew Croatia was going to be good, but my God, did it surpass our expectations.